Ever noticed the sudden chill in the air when she rolls her eyes at your jokes? Or the way her words turn sharp, slicing through your confidence like a hot knife through butter? Most men panic, retreat, or worse, ignore it entirely. But what if I told you that disrespect isn't always just about contempt? Sometimes it's a neon sign flashing a message most men never decode. Let's break it down. When a woman starts disrespecting you, she's often testing the waters. It's not always about how much she dislikes you, but rather how much you'll tolerate. It's a secret examination. Will you stand up for yourself, or will you crumble like a stale cookie? This is primal, evolutionary, deep in our DNA. Women, consciously or not, are wired to seek strength, confidence, and boundaries. When she pokes at you, she's checking for those invisible fences. Are they there, or are you an open field? Disrespect can manifest in 1,000 deliciously annoying ways. She interrupts you, dismisses your opinions, or makes sly digs about your fashion sense. She might even throw a playful insult your way just to see how you react. Here's the power move. She wants you to push back, not with anger, but with playful confidence. Think of it as a game of verbal ping-pong. If you can volley her serve, you pass the test. If you let the ball drop, you're out. But why do women do this? Simple. It's a subconscious way to assess your emotional strength. The world is full of men who bend over backwards to avoid conflict, who agree with everything just to keep the peace. Yawn. That's not what she craves. She craves someone who knows their worth, who sets boundaries, and who isn't afraid to enforce them. Imagine a lion in the savannah. You don't see him apologizing to the gazelles, do you? Let's get practical. The next time she throws shade your way, don't flinch. Instead, smile. Maybe even toss a witty comeback like, "Wow, is it National Roasting Day already?" Instantly, you shift the dynamic. Suddenly, you're not the victim, you're the player. And in her eyes, you've just become 10 times more interesting. But beware, there's a fine line between playful banter and full-blown argument. The goal isn't to start a war, but to dance. To show you have backbone without being a jerk. Confidence, not arrogance. Strength, not aggression. She wants to feel safe with you, but also challenged. Like a roller coaster, safe enough to trust, thrilling enough to ride. Now, let's talk about the most overlooked aspect: consistency. If you stand your ground today but fold tomorrow, you send mixed signals. Mixed signals equal confusion, and confusion equals disinterest. Women are experts at reading between the lines. They can smell inconsistency from a mile away. So, when you set a boundary, stick to it. When you say no, mean it. When you joke, own it. Picture this. She asks you to cancel your plans last minute. Old you might have grumbled, but caved in anyway. New you politely decline, saying, "I already made plans, but I'd love to see you another time." Instantly, you've set a boundary. You're showing her that your time is valuable and that you're not afraid to prioritize yourself. That's magnetic. But what if she escalates? What if the disrespect turns into outright hostility? Here's the secret sauce. Don't escalate with her. Maintain your composure. The calmest man in the room is always the most powerful. If she sees that she can't shake you, she'll either respect you more or reveal her true colors. Either way, you win. Some men hear the word disrespect and think it's the end of the world. But for those in the know, it's actually the beginning of something exciting. It's a test, a challenge, a call to action. Will you rise to the occasion, or will you fade into the background like all the others? The choice is yours. Now let's dig deeper. Why does disrespect sting so much? Because it's personal. It challenges your identity, your self-worth. But here's the plot twist. It only stings if you let it. The moment you realize that her words say more about her than about you, you become untouchable, bulletproof. Suddenly her jabs bounce off you like tennis balls off a brick wall. But remember, not all disrespect is created equal. There's playful teasing, and then there's genuine malice. Learn to tell the difference. If she's joking, play along. If she's mean, address it directly, calmly, but firmly. I didn't appreciate that comment. Let's keep it respectful. Simple, direct, and oh so powerful. Here's another secret. Women respect men who respect themselves. It's as simple as that. If you let people walk all over you, you send the message that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? Flip the script. Start valuing your time, your energy, your boundaries. Everything else will fall into place. Let's talk about power dynamics. In every relationship, there's a subtle dance of influence. Who leads, who follows, who sets the tone. Disrespect is often a way of testing who holds the reins. If you constantly chase her approval, you're giving away your power. Instead, focus on your own life, your goals, your passions. When you make yourself the priority, she can't help but take notice. Ever heard the saying, "You teach people how to treat you"? It's gospel. If you tolerate disrespect, you're telling her it's okay. If you address it, you set a new standard. And here's the kicker. People rise to the standards you set. Want to be treated like a king? Act like one. Not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. But let's get real. Sometimes disrespect is a red flag. If she constantly belittles you, mocks your dreams, or makes you feel small, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. No amount of witty comebacks can fix a toxic dynamic. Know when to walk away. That's the ultimate power move. Now, for those who love a challenge, here's where it gets interesting. Some women use disrespect as a way to weed out the weak from the strong. It's like emotional boot camp. If you pass, you earn her respect, and maybe even her admiration. If you fail, you're just another face in the crowd. So, how do you master this art? Start by building your confidence from the inside out. Hit the gym, learn new skills, pursue your passions. The more you invest in yourself, the less you'll care about fleeting moments of disrespect. You become the prize, not the pursuer. Here's a pro tip. Never take things personally. Most of the time, her behavior has little to do with you, and everything to do with her own insecurities, mood, or past experiences. When you stop internalizing her actions, you gain perspective and power. Let's dive into the psychology. Women are attracted to men who are unshakable. It's a survival instinct. In a world full of uncertainty, she wants someone who's steady, reliable, and confident. If a little disrespect throws you off balance, she'll question whether you can handle life's bigger challenges. But if you handle it with grace, she'll see you as a rock, someone she can rely on. And trust me, that's irresistible. So, what are the key takeaways? First, recognize disrespect for what it is. A test, a challenge, an opportunity. Second, respond with confidence, not aggression. Third, set boundaries and stick to them. And finally, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. The men who thrive in relationships aren't the ones who avoid conflict. They're the ones who embrace it, learn from it, and grow stronger because of it. Disrespect isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where you call the shots. Let's keep going. How do you cultivate this unshakable confidence? Start by mastering your emotions. When you feel the urge to react, pause, take a breath, respond, don't react. This small shift makes all the difference. It shows maturity, self-control, and power. Practice assertive communication. Speak your truth, but do it with respect. Use I statements. I feel disrespected when you say that. It's honest, direct, and hard to argue with. She may push back, but deep down she'll respect you more for it. Don't be afraid to walk away. The ultimate display of confidence is knowing when to step back. If she sees that you're willing to remove yourself from a toxic situation, she'll know you're not desperate. Desperation is the enemy of attraction. Confidence is the ally. Here's a scenario. You're out with friends and she makes a snide comment about your job. Old, you might have laughed it off, even though it stung. New you smile, look her in the eye and say, "Careful, your jealousy is showing." Instantly, you flip the script. You're not the butt of the joke, you're in control of it. Remember, humor is your secret weapon. It diffuses tension, shows confidence, and keeps things light. But use it wisely. Too much, and you seem unserious. Too little, and you seem cold. Find the balance. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Insecurity. Everyone has it. Even the most confident men have moments of doubt. The difference is they don't let it control them. They face it, learn from it, and move on. When you own your insecurities, they lose their power over you. Here's a challenge. The next time you feel disrespected, instead of reacting, ask yourself, what is she really trying to say? Often, it's not about you at all. Maybe she had a bad day. Maybe she's testing your limits. Maybe she's just bored. The key is to stay curious, not defensive. Let's talk about energy. We all have it, and women can sense it like bloodhounds. If your energy is needy, anxious, or desperate, it shows. If your energy is calm, confident, and self-assured, it radiates. Work on your internal state, and the external world will follow. Another pro tip: never compete with her. If she's disrespectful, don't stoop to her level. Rise above. Be the bigger person, but don't be a doormat. It's a delicate dance, but one that pays off big time. Let's get tactical. Create a mental checklist. When she disrespects you, ask yourself, is this playful or malicious? How do I feel about it? What's the best way to respond? Am I setting the right boundaries? By pausing and reflecting, you avoid knee-jerk reactions and maintain your power. Now, let's talk about growth. Every moment of disrespect is a chance to learn, to become stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. Embrace the discomfort. Use it as fuel to level up your life. Here's the bottom line. Women want a man who can handle her fire without getting burned. Someone who can challenge her, excite her, and make her feel safe, all at the same time. Disrespect is just a spark. How you respond determines whether it fizzles out or ignites something amazing. So, the next time you feel the sting of disrespect, don't shrink. Stand tall, smile, respond with confidence, and remember, you hold the power. Not her words, not her mood, not her tests. You. Keep this in mind. The world is watching. Your friends, your family, your colleagues, they take their cues from you. When you set the standard for how you want to be treated, others follow suit. Let's keep rolling. There's another layer to this: leadership. Women are drawn to men who lead, not with an iron fist, but with quiet strength. When you handle disrespect with grace and confidence, you're leading by example. You're showing her and everyone else what you're made of. But leadership isn't just about handling disrespect. It's about taking charge of your life, setting goals, pursuing your passions, building a legacy. When you focus on your own journey, disrespect becomes a minor bump in the road, not a roadblock. Let's get real. Life isn't a fairy tale. Conflict is inevitable. Disrespect will happen. The question is, how will you respond? Will you let it define you, or will you use it to refine you? Here's one more secret. The most attractive men are the ones who can weather any storm, who can face adversity with a smile, a joke, and an unshakable sense of self. That's what women want. That's what people respect. So don't shy away from disrespect. Embrace it. Learn from it. Use it as a stepping stone to greatness. And remember, the game isn't over. It's just getting started.